Hello fellow traders, Marv Eisen here from Timeless Dollar Trading Academy. And I want to make a video today about the 6 trade setups and what happens, how can you trade if you can't recognize any of the 6 trade setups. That's the gap, support and resistance, trend, time and price, momentum, or candlestick trade setups. Now, typically the market is going to open up and you're not going to know where the prices are going to go. Nobody knows where the prices are going to go, right? And that's the way we start the day. Prices start at a certain level, and the only thing we know prior to the market open is, of course, any announcements that come out pre-market. And so you should always consult the economic calendar. I use Market Watch. You can use whatever news source you want, but always find out if there's going to be a major announcement, such as an FOMC meeting announcement, interest rate announcement rather, or if there's going to be a jobs report. Now, jobs reports tend to move the market. FOMC interest rate announcements tend to move the market. So these are important points during any trading day where you should know that an announcement is likely to happen that can move the market. Okay, so beyond that, the only thing that you're going to know prior to the market opens is where prices closed the previous day. A trading zone gives you a support and a resistance and a range of where prices are likely to trade on that trading day. And so we can use that estimated or likely price action based on George Taylor's works, George Taylor's calculations, to give a picture or an estimate of where prices are likely to trade. And so if I remove it from my chart so you can see what a chart would look like prior to the market open. All right, so this is how your chart is going to appear prior to the market open. Prices are going to be coming in toward the 9:30 open, and this is the S&P E-mini. And the only thing that you can do to give you some hint of where prices are likely to go is the previous day's close. And that's the area where buyers and sellers generally agreed is an area of value. In other words, sellers agreed that this is a good price to sell. Buyers agreed that this is a good price to buy. And the reason that the previous day's close, or that the closing price, is so important and so crucial to mark on your chart for the following day is that prices very often revisit that same price level. And so I always put the previous day's close. I simply draw it as a horizontal line on my chart. You should as well. And so that's the only thing you're going to know. I'm going to put my trading zone back on the chart. And so with the trading zone, you have a good deal more knowledge of where prices are likely to trade. As prices begin the day, now these are 3-minute candles, and with each candlestick, we get some additional information to give us a hint of where prices are likely to trade. Now, the only way we can really see where prices are likely to trade is by knowing the range. And the range, based on the estimate of the Taylor trading zone, is a very important piece of information that could give us a clue where prices are likely to go. And to get that information, of course, we have the trading zone, but where do we put it? Because very often the trading zone needs to be transposed. And so we can take the trading zone and transpose it to the lower end of the day's candle or the upper end of the day's candle. Where are those price areas? Where are we going to find them? Well, the lower end of the candle is going to be the lowest point that prices reach on that trading day. And the highest point, of course, is going to be the highest point, the intraday high and the intraday low. But we can't wait until the end of the day to get those numbers, because then, of course, we wouldn't be trading. We wouldn't have any information to trade. So we can take an estimate from the first half hour to hour of the trading day and look at the highest and lowest price levels and see where prices are likely to trade for the remainder of the trading day. So where are we going to estimate prices are going to go? Are they going to go up? Are they going to go down? And so when prices start the day at a particular level, and on this particular day, and this was Monday, February 2nd, prices started in the middle of the trading zone, quickly closed the gap. And so if we wait until, let's say, 9:30, 10 o'clock, 10:15, prices right over here at about 10:15, is it likely that prices are going to take out the early intraday low? Not likely at that point. So we can take our trading zone and clone it and bring it to the intraday low, bring the clone rather to the intraday low to get an idea where prices are likely to trade. And if the trading zone is correct, prices are likely to trade somewhere up around here. Now this is, on this chart, this is a 3-minute chart. There are 20 points between each horizontal line. So we're talking about a considerable move here. So just from here to here, we're talking 20 points just between these two horizontal lines. So we take our trading zone, and if we take a trade there and we see where prices are likely to go, and I'm going to let this go for the rest of the day, I'm going to show you the rest of the week based on this particular example. As we can see, prices traded right up to just about the top of the trading zone. So this is a pretty good indication of where prices are likely to go. They take the trading zone, make an estimate of, is this going to be the low for the day, or is this going to be the high for the day? And this is around 10 o'clock right over here. We could take our trading zone, the clone rather, and clone it to here. But at the same time, or here, we can see that prices are not going to go in that direction. And we can generally get a good indication that prices are going to move to the upside and use our transposed trading zone to see where prices are going to go. And based on that, we can take a trade with a relative degree of certainty that we're going to be successful in that trade. Now let me move forward. And this is the next day, Tuesday, February 3rd. Prices started right at the top of the trading zone. Actually, prices opened just a few points below. And this particular chart, this is 10 points between each horizontal line. Still considerable amount of profit or loss potential between each horizontal line. Prices opened just about 10 points, 11 points below the calculated resistance. And that was right here at 77,019. And then quickly retreated, closed the gap, moved down from there. So at around 10 o'clock, we can see prices made a momentum move quickly to the downside. Now, momentum trade setups, there's no momentum trade setup. It's a momentum trade, because the reason I say there's no trade setup is because momentum trades can't be anticipated. They are sudden moves to the upside or downside. They're over in about 10 minutes, and by the time you decided to take a trade, the momentum move is generally over. So it's not really a trade setup that you can anticipate. But we can anticipate where prices are likely to go. Again, we have our trading zone, and prices did touch the intraday high, or right at the top, which happened to coincide with the trading zone resistance. And we can get on a trade somewhere around here, not anticipate that the prices are not going to take out this high, and trade down to the bottom of the trading zone. Of course, they violated the bottom of the trading zone, but the place to get off would have been over here unless you wanted to stay on. But there was no way of knowing, because there's no indication that prices are going to continue to fall out of bed here. Nevertheless, this is a very good trade. Again, 10 points between each horizontal line. If we get on right after the momentum trade toward the middle of the trading zone at 69, around 69.80, and prices traded down to 69.37. So about 43-point trade. Not bad, 43 points. Remember, the longer you're in the market, the more you are subject to risk. Prices basically bounced off the trading zone support and stayed there for about 15 minutes before they broke through support and proceeded further down. But using the trading zone to give us an indication of where prices are likely to go, very good way to trade. Again, 43 points on Tuesday, February 3rd. Wednesday, February 4th, prices started in the middle of the trading zone. As I've said so many times before, when prices start in the middle of the trading zone, difficult to determine. You really have to wait a while. The key element here was, well, there's two things. First of all, you see this high over here. This was the intraday high. And if we wait to see where that high gets tested, and we can use our stochastics as well to know when to either get on or get off a trade, we can use our overbought or oversold stochastics. We see right over here at around 10:30, we can see an attempt to take out the previous high, doesn't take it out. Good indication that prices are going to continue to the downside. So we can take our trading zone, clone it to the intraday high, and give us a good indication that we're going to be successful if we trade to the downside. Now again, there are 6 trade setups that we need to know: gap, support and resistance, trend, time and price, momentum, and candlestick. And if we don't know those 6 trade setups, well, that's the place to start. But if we don't see them, because we have to be aware, we have to know about them in order to recognize them. So we're always looking out for them. We're always looking out for one of the 6 trade setups. But absent the trade setup, what can we do? Well, we can use the trading zone and stochastics and the previous day's close. Here, prices opened just below the trading zone support level, quickly moved up, looked like it was going to close the gap, but look, right over here, the stochastics are greatly overbought, okay? So this is an area of caution. If we wanted to stay on here and prices started to slip, let's say we got on just below the high and prices started to slip, and we see stochastics, and if you don't use stochastics, I'm recommending that you do. Prices are starting to slip, stochastics is overbought. Good idea to maybe get off the trade, because here we don't have an insurance. So prices right over here at just after 10 o'clock took out the low of the day. So good indication that prices are going to trade to the downside, and we can clone our trading zone. When you're not sure that the trading zone is giving you good information, or prices are not comporting to either a trading zone setup, the trading zone or a trade setup, maybe leave it alone. Don't trade that day. Move forward another day. Friday, February 6th, and here prices started right at the trading zone resistance, but traded away from the trading zone, up and away. And here at 10 o'clock, a little after 10, prices tested but didn't take out, didn't even come near the intraday low, which was right at the trading zone resistance. So we clone our trading zone. Again, this is a big picture trading move, the trading zone. And we can clone our trading zone to the intraday low, which was put in right over here. And where did prices trade up to? This could be thought of as a trend trade. Okay, this is looks like a trend trade. Okay, but we have to wait to see if a trend is established. If we draw a line this way, but more importantly, use the knowledge of this low, not taking out this low, prices making higher highs. The trading zone gives us an indication of prices moving not only to the upside, but where to the upside. And in this case, again, 10 points between each horizontal line. This trade would have been good for about 50 points. So how do you get the trading zone? Well, George Taylor's trading zone is available if you can figure out his calculations from his book, The Book Method by George Taylor. I recommend you can buy it on Amazon. Very difficult book to read. Most people don't understand it. The first chapter is very interesting, by the way. The first chapter alone is worth reading the book, because it talks about how markets are manipulated. After that, it goes into the trading zone and how to calculate it, but it doesn't really give you the information of how to calculate it. And you'll find that basically after the first chapter, you're going to get lost. So I've taken the time to do the calculations. I have a degree in engineering, so mathematics is pretty familiar to me. I'm pretty comfortable doing it. But nevertheless, it took me a long time to figure out Taylor's calculations. And you can obtain the trading zone at my site, timelessdollar.com. Here, go to timelessdollar.com and click the link. Oh, by the way, if you want to check out my courses, I have a free course, Avoiding Costly Trading Mistakes, absolutely free. Register for that. My regular course, and it applies to all markets, Trading Mastery for Financial Freedom, very worthwhile. Still in all, you're going to have to invest in your education. And the Taylor Trading Calculator is on this link. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an introduction to this page. And there are two Taylor Trading Calculators. One is for markets that trade greater than 10 points a day, and one for markets that trade in less than 10 points a day, the difference being the decimal places. The regular version is good for markets that trade greater than 10 points a day, such as the E-mini. The decimal version is good for markets that trade in fewer than 10 points a day, like the oil futures market trades in very tight range, so you'll need the decimal version. But in each of these versions, and there's a window and a Mac version for each of these versions, each of these trading calculators, you'll have to download the calculator and input the numbers each day and generate the trading zone yourself. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. This is the Taylor calculator. And each day what you're going to have to do, and the numbers are basically calculate out automatically. All you have to do is enter the date in the leftmost column, followed by the open, high, low, and closing price. That's it. All the other numbers to the right calculate out automatically. The two columns in yellow are the Taylor trading zone resistance and support, and the gray column is the area between them, the range for the day. And so those are the critical numbers you want. You want the resistance, you want the support, and you want the range. But you have to maintain this calculator each day, and you can't skip a day. You have to maintain the calculator and input the numbers for each trading day. Even if you don't trade that day, you have to put in the open, high, low, and close. Some people, I don't want to enter the numbers, maintain the calculator. I've just come out with a new product, a monthly subscription service for the Taylor trading numbers, not the calculator. You don't need the calculator. I simply send you the Taylor resistance and support, and for 4 of the most popular markets: the S&P E-mini, the Nasdaq futures market, NQ, the Dow futures market, YM, and for Asian traders who trade in Australia and India, and I have a lot of visitors to my website from Asia, I also include the NIFTY50, which is one of the most popular markets that's traded in Asia. And so you get the Taylor Trading Zone for all 4 of these markets each day, delivered by email prior to the market open, so that you can put the trading zone on your chart and be prepared for the following day. With this information, you should be able to improve your trading. I've gotten tremendous reviews about the Taylor Trading Calculator, the Taylor Trading Zone. It gives you a visual of where prices are likely to trade, and using that, you'll be much more prepared to trade profitably. So that's my video for today. Thanks so much for watching. Trade safely, use lots of patience, and I'll see you in my next video. Marv Eisen for Timeless Dollar Trading Academy.